Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Call of Cthulhu blind. Now, I feel like I'm nearing the end of the game, but I guess we'll see about that. I think this is the lighthouse that I saw from Darkwater. Yeah, right. I must say it's a little bit annoying how he slowly limps forward, but I guess it's supposed to be dramatic and whatnot.
You are trapped. Keep going.
My God.
This way. Stand up. Walk.
Is somebody there? Hey, who are you? Where am I? Time to go back. I must go to Sarah.
That's probably a valid point. Just wanted to be sure I didn't miss anything.
The miraculous catch was a trap. Leviathan wanted to be found.
Obviously, because after they've ingested its flesh, they've become, they've become enslaved to it.
The last name added is that of Charles Hawkins. I'm willing to bet that they killed all the survivors of the miraculous catch.
Wait. What? I guess Charles Hawkins, they added his name recently? That's why it's like spaced out differently? Because I was confused at first. Obviously he died recently as opposed to right after the miraculous catch. Another painting by Sarah Hawkins.
It will soon be time, Edward Pierce.
You are dead. None of this is real. I saw you dead, as I see you now. Am I crazy too?
You survived. Don't you understand? You couldn't die. You will stay alive until you've fulfilled your destiny.
No!
Look at me. Look at me, Pierce. Dare tell me that you still don't believe it.
Okay, I'm going with the insanity answer.
Cthulhu Ilia.
When I was 8, my little brother fell from the apple tree. He was bleeding. I took care of him. That very day, I decided to become a doctor. I never reneged on my oath. That's what led me to Darkwater. The people here needed me. I died trying to save one of them. Help me give them a second chance. Embrace the power of this sleeping god.
You're out of your mind.
It's not just your life that is at stake. Many men and women have sacrificed themselves for this moment.
Colden!
You will not deprive them of their hope of a better life.
I saw what Leviathan did to Fuller. We will all die like him.
His life was written well before it started. It was not predetermined that he lived to see the call. But you? Yes. It is your destiny.
I feel like this is agreeing to Call Cthulhu, which I don't think is a good idea at all. Obviously, but I'm just too tempted to go, full insanity, so...
This painting. The investigation. I understand now. Like you, I was called here by a higher power.
Yes. All your choices had the sole purpose of preparing you for the final decision.
I must make a choice.
Not just make a choice. The right choice.
Not yet, but soon. We have one more thing to accomplish.
What is it?
I must take you to Sarah Hawkins, our oracle.
Well, let's go. Insanity route.
Sarah, I feel her calling me. Let us not wait any longer.
Not yet. You have one last thing to accomplish.
No, please. I can't do it.
Do you understand what it is?
She has already fulfilled her mission. Worry about your own.
No. No.
No one can fight their fate. Neither them, nor you.
Shut up! Silence! Stop! Go away! Stop!
Don't resist, Edward. They're already dead. There's nothing you can do. Just give in.
What happened to me? Sarah. I must go to Sarah. She is the Oracle. She will know what to do.
I wonder if I even have a choice at this point. And I kind of wonder if Algernon Drake will show up. Because, he's supposed to be the expert on the occult. And he has the... What it's called? The something of relay. The key of relay. So maybe he can stop this. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Sunken boat. Chapter 14, Alabaster Point. After a final confrontation, Pierce must go to the Alabaster Point, where Sarah Hawkins is supposed to be waiting for him. There he must make decisions that could change the destiny of the world. Well, what I'm worried about is that I will not be given a choice at all. Much as it was with the Leviathan, I chose something and then Pierce did something else of his own accord. Whoa, that's a cool looking.
Reality as you know it stops.
None of this makes sense.
Go. She is waiting.
That's a very cool looking structure. Oh, aren't those like the stone fingers that she had painted in her house? Kind of looks like it from a certain angle.
What have they done to me?
Come on.
Oh!
Mr. Pierce. I was expecting you.
Fuller, you died in front of my eyes.
Don't jump to conclusions. Is there not the tiniest spark of a scientific mind inside of that detective skull of yours?
What abject substance did you use to turn her into an empty shell?
Abject substance. The serum extracted from Leviathan's oil bestows the power of life. To me, my body is nothing but the mortal vessel of my conscience. To you, it contains more answers and secrets than your insignificant mind can grasp.
Even the sea looks cool. With the distant glow.
Barely stand up, and yet here you are. You never give up.
That is not you. Not anymore. Not since your disappearance on the docks.
Detective. So easy to fool you. So eager to rush to the rescue of a woman in distress.
You won't make me regret having tried to save people. I did what I could. Even for Colden.
Your efforts to change your destiny, although in vain, make you worthy of the fate that is yours. The day has come. You will be asked to choose.
Wait. Is that the Scylla? Like, is this supposed to be the coastline of Darkwater? But there is no Darkwater there. Although, I guess at this point, doesn't matter. Like, this is, as the voice said, you know, reality has crumbled. This is eldritch bullshit.
You forsook your right to a normal life the moment you chose power over humanity. No one wants to see such an unbearable sight.
You don't have the slightest idea of what you speak, of what I've been through. I have sacrificed my life to the one who sleeps. My marriage, my family, my own flesh. Why didn't Sarah choose me? Why is it your damn face on her painting?
So wait, did he... I'm getting kind of confused by all of this, but did he join the cult because of her? Because he wanted to get closer to her and he was annoyed that she chose Pierce as the caller, as the truth seeker? Because obviously she was the oracle. She is the oracle of the cult.
But you already know it. I can see that you will make the right choice.
I don't know. I don't know.
So, you've decided to shut your eyes. Find refuge in denial like a spooked child. You've lost your mind. And to think mankind's future is on your shoulders. None of this is real. Trust your guts.
If nothing's real, what are you?
I am a projection of your mind. What remains of that instinct that pulled you out of the trenches. You rejected her half-truths.
Well, not really sure what to think about that, but... Also, the music is kind of loud. Well, the music and the ambient sound. I wonder if I'll even be heard over the recording. But at this point, oh well.
Right there.
I'm almost there.
Here you are at last, Truth Seeker.
She was waiting for you.
You were waiting for me.
Yes. When I finally discovered the truth, I knew you would come. All this time I was fighting it, afraid of what I might discover. But I was afraid of myself.
It's coming.
What did you learn?
Listen to me, Edward Pierce, as I will deliver the truth.
I don't have cultist master, so I guess insanity it is.
I have seen things. Strange and horrifying, but always true.
Will you trust my words?
Yes.
One man only prepared by the trials and revelations, holds the power to change the world. Because I saw you in the dreams I share with my God. I recognize you for what you are, a truth seeker. One of the rare humans who is able to perceive fragments of his mind.
Yes, yes!
I feel the truth in your words.
Because it was written. Or, as I like to see it, painted on the canvas of fate.
Pierce, help me!
They are waiting for me to do it, right? Oh. Maybe not. Counter ritual, it seems like a good idea. Dedicated to the founder of Chaosium, the great grand shaman of gaming. Okay, that's a really abrupt ending. It didn't really tell me, like, what? It didn't really tell me what happened. Like, I hope it was vaguely good, in the meaning of stopping Cthulhu from awakening or something. Like, I saw counter ritual and I assumed it would have something to do with Algernon's knowledge of the occult, so it seemed like a good idea, but as is, I'm not sure what exactly it has accomplished, and I'm not sure if they got out of there in the end, if they survived, or, you know, what was their fate ultimately, so I'm kind of I'm not sure if I'm satisfied with that ending. It's not that I would like it to have it explained in detail and like very obviously, because that would be counterpoint to the whole idea of a Lovecraftian story. It's supposed to be mysterious and insane and a little bit rambling and a little bit nonsensical maybe even at points, but it was just very abrupt. I would have appreciated a longer epilogue, even if it wasn't necessarily more coherent, if you understand what I mean. But I guess that was Call of Cthulhu. I did enjoy myself. I think it was okay. My mind isn't blown by it, and I feel like it was very much mired in the cliches of a Lovecraftian story. You know, there was everything you could have thought of. Private detective, haunted by memories, you know, alcoholic, abusing various substances to deal with his own past. There was a cult. There was a seedy town, seedy port town on the waters. There was a deep one-ish creature in the form of the Leviathan. There was a Cthulhu cult. There was... what else? There were like mutated half squid, half people. So like there was everything. There was the elder gods, there was the elder sign, and all that. Like all of the staples of a Lovecraftian story. So I feel like the story itself like wasn't mind blowing, but it was competently done and overall enjoyable, I would say. I especially enjoyed. Oh,
We doubled the dosage, as you asked us to, Doctor.
Good, thank you.
okay, that isn't really better because this seems to imply that possibly I've accomplished nothing because Fuller was there, and I can't be sure if I really stopped Cthulhu and then went mad, or did I go mad before and didn't do anything of value for half the game. Like maybe I never even escaped from the asylum, because that's kind of what it could have implied. So, but this is yet again another staple cliche of Lovecraftian fiction. You know, the protagonist going insane at the end, his mind shattered by the revelation of what he has witnessed in his journey. But as I was saying, this game hasn't blown my mind. It isn't like amazing, but I had a good time. I'm glad that I played it. I enjoyed the character development bits. I think Dark Corners of the Earth would have benefited from such a system, as rudimentary as it was, because it gave you a feeling of reward after you accomplished your goals, and also a feeling of choice as you chose which skills to focus on. It didn't have that huge of an impact, I feel like, especially because it was still randomized. So sometimes I failed a check, even though I had a pretty high skill, and sometimes I succeeded, even though my skill was pretty low. So it was overall random, but it was cool-ish. What I regret is that there were very few actual puzzles. To be honest, there was like, what? I don't count the part with the ship, because that was like, it could have been done in like 3 moves. So to be honest, there was only one real puzzle, as I understand them, which was opening the safe in the bookstore. But even that was kind of simplistic, because that's not how this kind of safe should have worked. And I feel like they simplified it because they assumed a player wouldn't know how to operate a dial. And in fact, I didn't when I first played Dark Corners of the Earth. That's why I had the problem with the puzzle in that game. But apart from that, I'm not even recalling any actual puzzle, in which, because most of the quote-unquote investigations had you just click on everything inside. I don't consider that a puzzle, to be honest. It's like a walking simulator bit. You walk around and click on everything. It's not a puzzle. So I definitely feel like the game would have benefited from more puzzles, actual puzzles, and a bigger variety of them. Yeah, what else? I did enjoy some of the visuals. I feel like, for example, the whole art gallery at Francis Sanders' house was pretty great. Like, each little piece there was captivating and interesting. What's the word? Ironically enough, I feel like the Shambler himself was probably the least interesting artifact in this whole museum. And as an antagonist as well, I feel like recalling it back to the painting was a little bit too easy. But my favorite bit was probably those little parts in which the environment subtly changed when you weren't looking, and then changed back a second after. So like you weren't sure if you really saw something or not. Like there was a bit with when the painting started dripping blood, but when I focused on it, it reverted back to its original form. So that was very cool. What else? The quote-unquote combat system at the end, quote-unquote, was pointless, but it wasn't as annoying as in Dark Corners of the Earth, and there was much less of it, but I feel like it could have been skipped entirely and more puzzles could have been added, and it would have been a greater addition to the game. But what else? Yeah, I think that's everything. I had fun. I would say this game is better than Dark Corners of the Earth, maybe, but not by a long shot. And if it is, then it's only because it's technically more polished and less annoying in its design, because there was a lot more possibility of dying in Dark Corners of the Earth, and you had to repeat the same section over and over again. Although still I'm like perplexed by the fact that they haven't programmed a quick save function into this game, but it wasn't that big of a problem most of the time. I feel it's kind of comparable to Dark Corners of the Earth in the end, because even though it's more polished in like the technical department, I feel like the fact that it's an older game and it repeats all of the same, well, most of the same Lovecraftian cliches kind of lessens the experience a little bit compared to Dark Corners of the Earth. But actually, it reminds me, I wanted to talk about how they could have played with the story a little bit to make it more interesting, at least to me. Like, for example, the alcoholic private detective, it's a bit that has been done to death, and to be honest, I didn't care one bit for that kind of setup, because it's such a cliche at this point that it's almost like meh. So what I would have liked, and what I think would have been interesting, especially in the confines of a Lovecraftian game, is if you played a non-white character, like for example a Native American, maybe one of descendants of the original tribes of Darkwater, or maybe a black man or a woman, doesn't matter. But what I mean is, if you played a character that would be directly, like, would have a direct, opportunity, and also like a motif to challenge Lovecraft's horrible but also kind of hilarious racism, because obviously Lovecraft was a massive racist, even for the standards of the time. Like half the horrors that he imagined had to do with the mixing of the races, and with the fact that, oh heavens forbid, maybe someday immigrants will live in our cities and they will speak a different language. So I feel like playing a non-white character would be an interesting way to challenge some of those ideas and to engage with this subject of a Lovecraftian story in a little bit of a different way. But also, disregarding that, I feel like the 20th century itself as a setting, especially the beginning of it, is kind of like overdone at this point with Lovecraft, and I feel like obviously I'm leaving the confines of this game entirely at this point, because if you were to transport it into a different time, then it would have been a completely different game. You would have to build everything from grounds up. But I feel like overall, a very cool setting for a Lovecraft story would be actually the future, or maybe just the present. But what I mean is the exploration of space, because all of those eldritch horrors, they exist in realms beyond this reality, but also simply beyond this earth. Like they travel between the stars, they colonize, star systems. There are creatures on different planets in Lovecraft's mythos, and they sometimes communicate with humans like they're actual aliens on other planets. So I feel like it could have been interesting if they tackled a Lovecraftian story from the perspective of modern day, and you discovered actual Lovecraftian abominations, among the stars, as it were, as you explored them. But as is, this game was cool enough, I guess. Not quite worth the full price I paid for it, I feel like, but I have fun. I don't regret playing it. It was okay. So, with that being said, I think that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!